what's so frustrating for me as a viewer? Just when I get to a point where I think, okay, I can start cutting Ted some slack. Today happens. I'm like, you know what? How come I get the feeling, y'all, that I'm about to have to hate on Ted more than I ever have before? I'm like, Ted, stop it. You are not in love with Shanice. And of course, everyone is now getting the news, so we're going to talk about that. Also on today's recap, I'm going to talk about why sexuality in the writer's room matters. And you know what, y'all? Carla Mosley has come out on social media, and she is sharing with all of us that they are done filming season 22. I looked online, and they are actually 22 weeks ahead of their scheduled filming schedule. They're ahead of all the other soaps. So let's take a listen to what she shared on her Instagram. Adjust your volume.
Hey guys, I'm just up eating some cold. They're not that cold. Sauteed green beans with some Beyond Meat. It's really good. We wrapped season 2 today. I'm really proud. I'm really proud of us. And I'm really excited for you guys to see it. So thanks for helping us make this happen. And thanks to the entire team for all of your amazing work. Here's to season 3.
Yeah. So that was really nice. By the way, I love Beyond Meat. For those of you who are listening, and I mean, you may not know what Beyond Meat is. For people who are vegans, I'm not vegan. I just like to try to not eat as much meat as I used to as I've gotten older. So Beyond Meat is a meat substitute. It's made strictly from vegetables, and so it's called Beyond Meat. If you'd like to check it out, I'm going to link for you some of my favorite things from Beyond Meat, the brand, in the comment section. You can find it all on Amazon. If you are busy this week and need something to be delivered. So let's now get to the recap of today's episode. Well, what were my thoughts overall? Well, seeing as I just came off of a binge, okay, shout out to one of you said that you had binge last week too. Now that I just come off of a binge, I will say that today was more placid, you know. I'm not going to say it was boring necessarily, but it was just a regular episode. But I did enjoy it. I did. So I enjoyed it from start to finish. So let's talk about it. Well, y'all, Vanessa, they pick us up where they left us off last week. Vanessa walking into Joey's casino and, of course, seeing that Heather is there. So Heather is playing, you know, a little game with Vanessa. Vanessa walks in and she's like, basically, who the hell are you? Oh, I know Joey has many women, right? Because Heather says, you know, I'm one of Joey's women. You know, I love him. I've shared the bed with him. And guys, was it me or was Vanessa actually saying today that she knows that Joey has sex with all these different women? Because when Heather was playing with her, she said to Heather, I know about basically the sex workers. And I'm like, and the casino waitresses, I'm like, do they have, I was not under the impression that Joey and Vanessa have an open relationship. But maybe she was talking about in the past that he used to sleep around with those women and the sex workers, I don't know. But Heather's like, you know what? Basically, baby doll, I'm not a sex worker. I shared a bed with him for years. Basically, you know, when they were little. So she plays with her and Vanessa's going along with it until Joey walks in. And before he walked in, Heather revealed that Joey is her brother. And Vanessa's like, oh, you're his sister. Y'all, when I tell y'all Heather was laying it on thick, she really was. So much so to the point where Vanessa didn't even catch on that Heather was simply playing her. It took Joey to say to Vanessa, don't be fooled by Heather. She can't be trusted. And Vanessa's like, well, y'all know how she talk, right? She's like, you know, just you know what I was thinking? Just like Vanessa is so naive about Joey, she's just as naive about Heather. It's like Heather is cold-blooded, okay? You want to be a gangster girl, but Heather actually is, okay? And she's been living that life for quite a while, from our understanding, right? So she ain't nothing to play with. But y'all, Vanessa's like, Joey's warning her. He's saying, I love my sister, but I know her. Don't be fooled by that, you know, basically MO. That's her MO. She she's like that with anyone she thinks may take her, who may underestimate her. Y'all, Vanessa talking about, she seemed nice to me. I'm like, you know what? Heather, get the cutting, okay? Get the cutting for me, all right? Since Anita with her 5011 rings wasn't available today to get to slicing, right? Y'all know some of this jewelry that we wear, ladies, can be used. Okay, I'm just letting you know, putting you up on game. You know, back in the day, folks had the brass knuckles. In some states, brass knuckles are illegal. But if you got to go somewhere, okay, just put you on 5011 rings and make sure you got some sharp corners. I'm not encouraging anyone to do violence. I'm just making it known that, you know what, I really think that Vanessa and I think Heather's going to have to show Vanessa who really is the boss of Joey. And it's not Vanessa, okay? So Joey and Vanessa had plans to go out to eat dinner at the country club, and y'all know how they are. You know, Vanessa suggesting that she gives him a little treat in his black truck on the way to the country club. And so when they walk in the country club, y'all, wait a minute, wait. Joey's hair is all messed up. He's fixing his clothes. Vanessa's jacket is open, right? And Anastasia walks up to them and she's curling her nose up like, ugh. She actually says, ugh, basically. And, you know, Joey and Vanessa, they run circles around Anastasia. Anastasia says that they are so disgusting and so lacking in anything that is deserving to be walking up into the country club that she is going to file a formal complaint. How come Joey says, you know what, the board took me out to eat last week, so when you're filing that complaint, tell them I said hi. And then Vanessa rubs it in by saying, you know what, Diego gave me a little bit of intel on how basically nasty and freaky you are. And y'all know Anastasia's all offended. I don't know why Anastasia thought she was going to be able to become a client of Vanessa's and Joey's, or Vanessa's prostitute, you know, sex worker ring masquerading as a dating service, and then run up into Vanessa's face and be disrespectful. Y'all, that don't make no sense to me. But anyway, so y'all know what happens. They basically send Anastasia running off in embarrassment. You know, what do I think about this storyline? You know, I don't really know, y'all. I mean, for me, unless they are about to wrap, which I desperately pray they are, unless they're about to wrap some of these other storylines, I don't feel like we need a new storyline opened up. Meaning, if the new layer of Joey and Vanessa's storyline is going to be Vanessa versus Heather. Remember, they tried to do Vanessa versus Leslie, and I don't think the fans responded to that well. So they kind of trashed that, right, and kind of made them more, you know, agreeable to each other. But if they're about to try this now with Joey, sister, and Vanessa, I just don't know how we're going to all collectively respond to that. Maybe it's going to be interesting, but if they're going to drag it out while all these other storylines are still open and not closed up and all this mess, I just think, I don't know. Let us know in the comments. Let us all know. And remember, guys, try not to make your comments personal to me. I know some of you are used to content creators who like that. I actually don't like that. And I know it's very odd. You don't have to tell me. Trust me, I know. I've been commentating on the internet for 9 years, so baby, I'm true to this. I'm not new to it. I just want you to know that that's not a way to get my attention, because I know that's why some people do it sometimes. They want to get the content creators' attention. If you want my attention, just tell us what you think about the show. Not my show. I mean, what's going on with the show we're talking about. Those are the comments that draw me in. So I'm just trying to help you out. Well, sis, that's so rude. I'm just trying to help you out. I'm just trying to tell you. So anyway, so I don't know. I really, even when I was binging yesterday, I was like, am I going to really be interested in seeing Vanessa and Heather go back and forth? Because I was a part of the fan base that was not interested in Leslie and Vanessa going back and forth. I thought it was silly and childish. And I'm like, that's all they can do. I mean, that's all they can do. So again, let us know what you are going to, are you going to be interested? Unless she tries to kill the girl, then that may be interesting. But if it's just going to be who's going to get Joey's attention, bye Beyond the Games. Y'all going to make me take off another 2 weeks. Anyway, y'all, let's talk about Kyle and Nicole and Pamela. Okay, so Kyle and Nicole were sitting up at the Uptowns, not at the bar, but in a booth, and they had just had dinner. And Kyle was saying how he's about to go to the gym and work out, and they talk about meeting up later at his place or her place for a little rendezvous. Well, while they're doing that, y'all, Pamela comes over to greet Nicole, and then she sees Kyle, and just as Nicole is about to introduce her to Kyle, she's like, I know exactly who you are. Y'all know how she talk, right? You are the fabulous, fantastic, and he's like, oh my God, stop. And of course, Pamela is always trying to recruit somebody for her and Danny's modeling agency. But y'all, Kyle says he is not interested in this. And just as Pamela says, I got to take this call, and she goes to the bar, he grabs Nicole's hand. He's like, let's go. Basically, let's go before she come back. So that was interesting. Well, later we do see Kyle up at the country club where he was working out. And y'all, I have to say, I did burst out laughing at this scene today. So Anastasia walks up to Kyle, and she's like, hi, Dr. Rollins. She's in this slinky dress, y'all. And he's like looking her up and down like, yes. And she is up here flirting to the gods, y'all. She up here talking about how she could show him around and all this kind of thing. And he says, well, actually, Nicole Dupree has already shown me around, And so she's like, ugh, I can't stand those Duprees. Nicole is so busy with the many, many men she has. And how come Kyle talking about? Wait, I'm confused. Isn't it you that has the barrage of ex-husbands? And y'all, that embarrasses Anastasia, And then he sees Martin and Smitty having problems, so he excuses himself. What had happened, y'all, was, as you probably may have seen by now, y'all, Martin and Smitty were up at the country club too, right? And they were going to play pickleball. Wait a minute. They were going to play pickleball with, hold on, y'all. Let me look at the man's name. Not Diego. Wait a minute. Anyway, they were going to play pickleball with one of the doctors, Dr. Rogers, who's 83. How come he basically flattened them both? And Smitty got injured. It may be a torn ligament, but they realize it's not. But anyway, he got injured. And so Kyle leaves Anastasia to go over there and to attend to see what's going on. Well, they go to the hospital where Smitty has to be on crutches and so on and so forth. That was not really that interesting today, but that was a part of our show. Y'all, let's talk about Ashley, Ted, and Naomi, and Nicole. You see what I'm talking about? This right here, this the kind of writing that I said, Y'all, how come Ashley and Ted are up at the coffee area of the hospital? Ted is fixing himself a coffee, and Ashley is talking about actually, it was Ted who brought up, right, y'all, how empty the cabinets were, that they need to restock the supplies. And of course, Shanice is in charge of whoever's supposed to do that. How come Ashley is saying to him, why don't you get your girlfriend to handle it, while y'all are both telling each other you love each other? How come I was sitting at home like, you know what? I cannot stand Ashley. Where is the professionalism line? What makes her think she had the right to tell what Shanice told her to Ted? And not only that, she then later, when Naomi comes up to the hospital to give her a gift card for spa services for being a great friend from the country club, she tells her too. I'm like, you know what? They told us that Shanice was the hospital gossip, but it seems as if she has desperately rubbed off on Ashley. Like, y'all, I was like low-key offended. Like she told something on me, girl. I couldn't believe that. I was like, how disrespectful to Shanice, especially seeing as when Shanice told her this last week, Shanice was nervous. She was afraid. Shanice is really confronting the walls that she's built up around her heart. It wasn't something to make fun of. And I felt like Ashley proved that she can be trusted, okay? So anyway, so Ted is like, oh, so everybody knows about me and Shanice telling each other we love each other. And so she kind of wiggles out of that. But at any rate, later, y'all, it's late at night and Ted is still at the hospital working in his office. He is getting some things completed that he wasn't able to because of all the ruckus that's been going on. Eva and Kat in the hospital and all that. Well, guess who? knocks on his door. It is now Nicole. So he's like, hey, what are you doing here this late? And so they talk about that. And he's like, okay, after they little small talk, he's like, now I know you. So what is you really coming here for, basically? Y'all, how come Nicole talking about, I heard that you are now in love with another woman. And so he's like, yes, I'm sorry, but basically I'm in love with Shanice. And yes, we've exchanged those words, or I've told her. And y'all, he's like, I'm like, in what world would this happen? A lot of us know people who are divorced. Heck, some of us may be divorced. It's like, come on, ain't nobody finna have. And so anyway, whatever. He tells her that he knows her well enough to know that she's not just in there to congratulate him on being in love with another woman, but she came in there really for him to give her advice on whether it's time for her to be in love with somebody else. And she's like, you know me so well. And he says to her that he's been watching her love life, and he notices that she is definitely giving Kyle more play than Carlton. And could it just be that Carlton was just a symbol of something familiar, right? But she really wants Kyle. He even says to her, so when was the last time you've had Carlton in your bed? And she's like, Ted, that is enough. You have gone too far. And he apologizes for that. I'm like, Ted, no doggone well, he hadn't been saying, don't. Don't get, look, I'm talking to myself. I'm not talking to y'all. I'm reminding myself, don't talk too much about Ted. Don't talk too much about Ted, because y'all know how I get when I have talked too much about Ted. So anyway, y'all, they talk about this, and Loki says, go ahead and give me your advice. And he says to her, maybe she really already is in love with Kyle, but she tells him that she is not ready to give her heart again, that she is still exploring, in essence, and learning what's important to her versus not. And until she meets a man that can give her everything she wants, she is quite content where she is. Now, I thought that was really wise, because, as we've talked about before in our community, it is not unusual for a man or a woman who has been married for an extremely long time and then they get divorced. Once they start going through the healing process and those feelings reawaken, like for instance, we've talked about this, the realities of divorce. I feel like enough people don't talk about that when you are been married for a long time, you're used to several things that could be very, some people could say are very shallow, but they are real needs that a person has. When a person has been married for a long time, they are used to having consistent companionship. Even when you're not getting along with the spouse, at least somebody's there. But when someone transitions from married to divorce, they have to then, after a while, the loneliness rises up. And yes, you can be married and lonely even though someone's there, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. We're talking about when the feelings reawaken after people get over the pain of the divorce and they start their healing journey, they realize, ooh, I want to have sex. And, what's the deal, right? And so as all these feelings begin to reawaken, or desires and needs begin to reawaken after the pain subsides, it's not unusual at all for people to begin to explore by friends with benefits. And sometimes it's someone they know, right? Because that's a comfortable person. And that's what he was trying to say to her, that Carlton was just that. But her real interest is in Kyle. But like I said, she shot all that down. I was like, okay. Let me see here. Y'all, listen, all I'm going to tell you by way of recap is that Ashley and Naomi talked. I find them both quite boring. And so, well, I think now that I think about it, I am doing a recap. So I guess I should say something. Basically, okay. She's there to talk to Dr. Mann. This is Naomi. She's there to talk to Dr. Mann because Monica recommended Dr. Mann as a witness on Madison's case. She gives the girl a gift card. You're a great best friend. And then Ashley reveals to her, I actually told your mom, talk to Danny about your BRCA gene situation and blah, blah, blah. Now let's get to what's really important. Andre. Okay. I cannot wait for y'all to share with all of us in the comments. Remember, let's talk to everybody, y'all. What your thoughts are about this whole Andre situation. You know what I find so interesting? And this is the part of watching soaps that I'm still getting used to, even though we're almost 2 years in. It's taken me time to get used to how they abandon storylines and then pick them back up. Or maybe they never abandoned them. It just seems that way to me. I don't know. But do you guys remember, wasn't it early in this season, season 2, or was it latter half of season 1, when Bill hired Keegan to check out every single thing about Andre? He even told him, this dude has been a jet setter. He's jetted all around the world with his photography. He's been in multiple countries. And Keegan did a clean sweep on Andre. His out-of-town contacts, everything. And what had happened? Beyond the Gates writers, what had happened, y'all? Found nothing. Now, all of a sudden, okay, so they abandoned that part of the storyline. At least from my vantage point, that's the way it seemed as a viewer. They abandoned that. I mean, remember, a lot of us were even getting interested in that. Like, ooh, Andre is not as squeaky clean, as he's portraying himself to be. Now, all of a sudden, Keegan, who is... Now, see, this is what I want us to think about. This ain't just any private investigator. This is Big Bad Bill Hamilton's investigator, his #1 man. And Bill, they've told us, is the top attorney in the DMV. Matter of fact, he's so good, he's been coveted all across the world, which goes beyond the United States. I mean, that's what Bill told us. Okay? He represented people out of the country. So my whole thing is, you mean to tell me that man who works for that man, he didn't find nothing, but now all of a sudden somebody is creeping it. I'm like, okay. They're reintroducing this part of the storyline. So maybe my mind just works too logical and for me to kind of quite understand that. But at any rate, so y'all, Andre and Danny are at home kissing and whatnot. But before they're kissing and whatnot, Andre is staring at the champagne bottle. He picks up his phone. Right, the mysterious bottle of champagne that was delivered last week with no name on it, which was actually a gift for their wedding, but we know it was somebody in his probably immediate past or whoever if he's screwing around with somebody. So he looks on his cell phone at a photo, right, of him holding a bottle, sitting evidently with somebody across from someone, and that bottle of champagne is there. And so he's looking at the label, and in comes Danny. Y'all know how it goes on the soaps. You're staring at that bottle of champagne like you're looking at my naked news, right? And y'all, Andre is very uncomfortable. Y'all know how it goes on the soaps, right? Pamela calls and invites Danny to come to Uptown because she has something to tell her, a call she got about her career. And Danny's like, oh, well, I'll just bring Andre with me. So they get there, and how come, y'all? They're sitting at the table, and Danny is telling Pamela, tell me what's going on. And she's like, y'all know how she talk, right? Tia Allen, the reporter, she wants to do a whole spread on you, Donnie. And y'all, Danny's like, I mean, they are so excited about this. We're going to get her to interview every, people you used to work with. And she wants to interview Andre, too. Y'all know the whole time that Danny and Pamela are excited. Andre's looking all crazy. He's screaming. Sean Freeman did a great job in this scene because he did look real crazy, like suspicious, like, well, while they were celebrating, somebody was outside. Y'all know how it goes, right? Somebody was standing outside of Uptowns. We couldn't see who they were, but they were peering in the, they were peering through the curtains, y'all, or through the, the blinds, looking at Andre and Danny and whatnot. Okay, let me give y'all what I think it is, okay? All I can say is I hope we're not going to find out that Andre, I hope we're not going to find out that Andre killed somebody, okay? Now, remember, Andre had said, because first I thought maybe somebody has a baby by him, or he has his own crazy Allison, so to speak, But Andre had told us that he never wanted kids. But of course, that don't mean that he didn't take on somebody else's kid, right? We know his parents died, which I'm still not sure about that. But anyway, y'all know I've never forgotten this. And I know some of y'all have told me, sis, let it go. Quit talking about it. But yeah, I ain't gonna never forget this. Now, for all my new people, I'm gonna tell you what had happened. this is what people always tell me, let it go. It was a long time ago. It probably wasn't really that. Very early on in season 1, when they were teasing us about Martin's secret, Martin used to have these nightmares, okay? And I don't care what nobody tell me, let it go or not. I'm telling y'all, one time when Martin had one of these nightmares, I heard a helicopter, the propellers, excuse me, I'm trying to say too much, propellers of a helicopter. And so I used to think that Martin was the one who killed Andre's parents by accident. And I have told people, go back to season 1, you're going to hear it. You can distinctly hear an airplane. Well, and then in some of the nightmares he'd be standing by a car. So I said to y'all, he either killed multiple people or he had something to do with the fact that Andre's parents went down in this supposed helicopter crash. But I don't know. They never picked that up. And yeah. So anyway, so either I think whatever it is, this is my theory. I think whatever it is has to do with his parents. Either he found out he has another sibling, or because remember, they told us that when Andre's parents died, because weren't they in the real estate or something like that? They owned a business, multiple businesses. They were rich. And that Andre has never taken a salary from his photography. He's living off the inheritance he got from his parents. But y'all, his parents have been dead since he was a little kid. So it's like, ain't that much money in the world, right? Andre is in his 30s, they've told us. So I think either he went into a bad business deal or he found out something about his parents and he's been sharing the money with whomever it is. And now that he's married, whoever this person is either wants more money from him or it's some sort of a blackmail situation. That's what I'm thinking. But of course, I don't know. And it's always fun to kind of trade theories back and forth. So we shall see kind of what. Now, I've seen on Reddit that some people think Andre has a whole family somewhere. That is quite possible because he did tell us that he traveled the world. But here's my thing. I got to go back to Keegan. When Keegan checked out Andre, he said, I still remember the episode. He said he checked out all of his contacts, even outside the country, and no one had anything bad to say about Andre. So if he had a family, wouldn't Keegan have found that out? If he had a child in school or an ex-wife or a crazy lover or something to that effect, I don't know. But we shall see. Okay, guys, I'm almost done. Let me just look over my notes real quick, because y'all know I'll be just scribbling everywhere. I think they need to do something with Nicole's storyline. I mean, like, we know that they've introduced one of Kyle's sons, right? And he and Deanna may be a love interest for each other. But my thing is, okay, but where is this going with Nicole and Kyle? Okay, so she ran up into Ted's face today looking for advice, of which Ted is the least person to get advice from, but she did. And she even said to him, you know me, you still know me better than anybody, and I still value what you have to say, right? But my thing is, what is now the purpose of this sexapades with these different men? I don't see that. They're not showing us Nicole coming to some understanding about herself. We just see that she's enjoying herself, but this has been going on for months. At some point, all of these sexapades needs to have some sort of purpose. Like, is Nicole trying to figure out, like, I don't know. And yeah, the purpose could just be she's having fun, but I'm not saying I'm speaking from experience. I think I'm speaking from someone else's experience who told me about this. The bottom line is there does come a point where this gets played out and you're like, okay, I got it out my system. Now what? Okay. And for this lady, it's been months and months on end, and she still hasn't decided who she wants. She still is saying now to Ted she don't love nobody. Like, what's the point here? Okay, guys, that's pretty much the end of it. Oh, I wrote this down. Y'all, I'm sorry. Lauren, the lady who's playing our Vanessa, this is when tanning goes too far. Sometimes white folks, with this tanning and mess, which is so dangerous, by the way. Even if they're using tanning creams, these things are very dangerous unless they're gonna get a vegan one or whatever. But the bottom line here is this lady is beginning to look more and more orange every time I see her, and maybe she looks so orange today because she had on red, and that just made the tanning cream or the tanning that she's doing seem extreme. But I'm getting concerned for her. Because see, a lot of these people wind up getting skin cancer as they get older. And once they get older, their skin is like leather. They look so wrinkly. They look like a big old snake, you know? Yeah. Okay, y'all, that's it. That was pretty much the long and short of today's episode. Not a lot of moving parts. I have to say, as I get ready to let you go, I was glad that they gave us a lot more of Anastasia. I like Anastasia's character. I do. And I think the lady who's playing Anastasia, she's doing a good job. She plays the nosy, uppity, I'm better than you and I so want to be better than everybody vibe. She does it very, very well. So there you have it, guys. There's our recap for today. Thank you for tuning in. Drop down there in the comments and let all of us know about your viewer experience. And I just want to say, I don't want no one to take what I said the wrong way. I'm not saying you can't, personalize your comments to me. That I don't want anyone to take it that way. I'm just simply letting you guys know that this is a community, and I like the community feel of us all talking to each other and not just singling one person out. Yeah, because we're all reading each other's thoughts and comments. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.